Hey, good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Friday morning. It's the 28th day of July, 2023. This is the morning briefing. Give you an idea of what we can expect as we head into the weekend and beyond. And there are a couple of things we got to keep an eye on, especially as we head into next week. Next week looks as though it could be quite changeable. But as I look out the window of the home office this morning, I see blue sky. The trees are moving around. There's a good delta breeze. It's a nice, comfortable morning, and it should be a pretty comfortable day with temperatures returning to the 90s, low to mid 90s, pretty close to average for this time of year. And if you have any outdoor plans for the weekend, it also looks good. I'll get more into that in just a second. But first, I want to start with something that's been kind of bugging me, and somebody brought it up in the Facebook chat last night. Somebody's asking about that 100-degree water down in Florida. I want to give you just a little bit more perspective on that. I'm sure that you probably saw the headlines, but the headlines, as usual, don't tell the full story. So I just want to give you a little explanation on exactly what's going on. So here's Florida. Here's Miami, Fort Lauderdale, the Keys, Key West. And there are buoys in a number of areas down in here that do measure the water temperature. But I want to focus on where we were seeing that hot reading of a water temperature of 100 degrees. Unfortunately, the national media would likely make you believe that everywhere, all of the water down here is 100 degrees. That's not really the case. Instead, what we're looking at is a place down here called Manatee Bay. It's not too far from Key Largo. Key Largo is right down here. And so if you take a close look at this on Google Earth, this is Manatee Bay. It's actually part of the Everglades. And as you can see, it's a relatively closed off area. So there's a little island chain right in here. There's the opening, but this drains out of the Everglades and eventually into the Gulf of Mexico. But as you can see, it's not like it's a wide open area. This is a very closed off area, not much in the way of circulation in this. And there's a buoy in here, and this was the spot, Manatee Bay, that had the hot water recorded. Now, if I widen out again, you'll see that there's not a lot of circulation here, and it's relatively closed off. So it's not as if it's out here in the Gulf Stream. The other thing that I'll point out is the temperature. So this is the temperature graph going back to back to the 23rd. So these were the temperatures, and here is the spike that got all the attention, going up to 101. But as you can see, the next couple of days they had some clouds, they had some rain, and now the temperature is back down into the 84 range, which is in line with all of the others that are in the area. So obviously they got some mixing, they got some rain and that sort of thing. But I haven't seen any headlines to tell you that the temperature is back down into the mid 80s, whereas I still hear people saying, yeah, the water temperature in Florida is 100 degrees. Well, it was in one spot for one day. So, but again, you won't see that in a headline anymore. So I hope that gives you a little more background on what you saw, and keep in mind, especially when it comes to weather stories, I have found that the headlines that you see aren't always a really good indication of what is happening in a widespread area. They usually tend to cherry pick data quite a bit. So let's look at what's happening around here. And we have a beautiful morning. We have a nice marine layer here, as you can see. Otherwise, clear skies, a couple of clouds up towards Shasta. Once again, I want to point out how much smoke there is in Oregon. And we are quite fortunate that all of that is staying in Oregon. For those of you in Oregon, I feel sorry for you, but we are going to continue to see that stay to our north for a while. We will keep clear skies. There may be some clouds coming our way from time to time, but all in all, we are in great shape. We have the marine layer, we have the onshore breeze. Should make for a comfortable day. So let me show you the overall weather pattern here. This is just a really nice pattern for us. We have the high to the south, this low digging into the north. And as we go through the next couple of days, we'll continue to see that sort of a pattern. And I mentioned the smoke in Oregon. So here's Oregon, and you just picture that smoke just kind of gets carried this way. So that's good for us. This is the day on Saturday. This is Saturday afternoon, Sunday. more troughiness for us, more high off to our east. Now, there's one thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on early next week. I think it might be this little vort down in here, riding up the backside of the ridge. And with it, we will start to see, there it is right here. This is the sort of scenario that can give us the monsoon. So the flow starting to turn from Arizona with this little vorticity right there, little turning in the upper atmosphere, if you will. And that may be good enough to bring us some showers or thunderstorms to the Sierra on Tuesday and or Wednesday, and some clouds over the valley as well. And as we get into, this is Wednesday, as you can see, that little vort has made its way to the north. Also helps to keep the high away. And so I'll show you in just a second how that may squeeze out some showers, but the GFS usually doesn't do a great job with that very far out. And then as we look farther down the road to next weekend, the first weekend of August, it looks as though we're going to be seeing some heat then, although not as extreme as what some of the models were saying a few days ago. And it also looks as though if that does pan out, that what we would see is a few days of heat, like 3, maybe 4, followed by more troughiness to get us back down into more comfortable weather. And that the heat would be for perhaps next weekend and the early part of that following week. All right, let me get back to the monsoon, however, and I'll show you with the GFS. And this is next Monday, and you can just see the moisture down in here start to come up from the south. This is Tuesday morning. This is Tuesday afternoon. This is late Tuesday afternoon. You see scattered showers here. Like I said, I don't expect the GFS to do a great job with this, but once it comes into the range of our finer mesh models like the NAM or the HRRR, we'll have a better idea of thunderstorms. But as you can see, this is Wednesday morning. It's showing the chances of showers. The worry here, of course, on Wednesday afternoon would be, let's say in Plumas County, the possibility of getting anything in the way of dry lightning, or even just lightning at all, even with some moderate rain. I was also reminded last night that back in 2020, I was looking at some satellite images from 2020. Early August of 2020, it was like now. We had beautiful blue sky. We didn't have any fires burning. And then we saw a huge area of monsoon moisture come up and delivered hundreds and hundreds of lightning strikes, and we saw fires that ended up being quite devastating especially over the Mendocino County area. We saw lots and lots of lightning started fires. So while we are quite fortunate right now to not have any fires going on, we have to keep an eye on the monsoon. I do not expect this will be a repeat of 2020. I should say that emphatically. This does not look like a repeat of 2020. But any lightning strikes, because everything is so dry right now, have the possibility of giving us some fires. Even if it's a couple, then it's something that would make CAL FIRE on alert. And so that's what we'll be looking at for next Tuesday, Wednesday, especially increased fire danger for the possibility of thunderstorms. But again, that's what we will kind of fine tune over the next couple of days. In the meantime, for today, for the weekend, for Monday, comfortable temperatures, warm but not overly hot, and and we'll just kind of see what next week brings. So that's everything I've got for you this morning on this beautiful Friday morning. Hope you have outdoor plans for this weekend. It should be quite comfortable, much better than the last couple of weekends have been, whether you're going to the State Fair or the Amador County Fair or whatever else it might be. It should be great. I'll be on KCRA tonight at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11. And make it a great day. I'll talk to you later.